Hey, what's up, guys? Someone Watchman here. Just checking in. Uh, couldn't sleep. Had a lot of work to get done. And hell of a week. Hell of a week, guys. So, haven't been posting as much as I'd like to. I had to finish off the school year, so got that squared away yesterday. And then today, spent some time with the family. Took them out to the park to get some air and go out to the little splash pads, the little water things they got going on. So did all that, man. A little bit of time, spent some time with my mom. She doesn't live close to here, and we don't get to do that very often. So it was cool. It was cool to spend some time with family and my little brother. So grateful for that. By the way, spend time with your family. Whenever you get a chance. We got a funeral in the family coming up soon, and my wife's uncle passed away, so I'm gonna do a little bit of traveling to go bury uncle. So I'm not my cheery self right now. Just got a lot going on, a lot in my mind, and plus it's about 4 a.m. And like I said, I couldn't sleep. I was just getting some stuff done, and sitting here at this computer, pretty much trying to plot what's going to happen for me this summer. Got to call an audible and make some things happen. But since I had my camera out, I was getting it ready for church tomorrow. Figured, let me just record straight on the camera instead of my usual setup on the computer. And I got a lot on my mind, but I think at the forefront, just a lot of anger, frustration towards the stupidity of the nation, the state of our state, and just my heart goes out to the children. I really, the reason why I decided to start my channel in the first place is to protect the children. It's why I do what I do, and it's why I homeschool, because it makes a difference. It makes a difference when we adults decide to step up and stand against tyranny and stand against oppression and stand for what's right. It makes a difference. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that make fun of me having a channel. This is not something that's common in the Samoan culture. It's not common for someone in the culture to be as outspoken as I am. And whenever someone is, they face ridicule, mockery, and most of you truthers out there are, you understand what I'm talking about. You're going to say, oh, that's normal. It's normal for someone to get into truth and get mocked and made fun of and stuff like that. But it's almost frowned upon in my culture, because my culture is a culture that, though we are strong and we hold on to values, we hold on to them so strongly that we carry on tradition through all these generations. We still hold on to our culture. We do things. We have the modern methods, but we also do things the way they've done it years ago. Anyway, point is, it's not something that is recognized or acknowledged in my culture to have this, to be outspoken and to speak against authorities, because most of the Samoan culture is Christian, and Christians, for the most part, today's Christianity. People are very submissive to government because of, I believe, what it was, Romans 13 or something. There's somewhere around there. I might be off, but there's a verse that talks about being submissive to the governing parties, and so Christians kind of tend to, they tend to lean towards that type of mentality, just to, to obey and listen to the governing authorities, so called, because that they figure that's what we're supposed to do. That there's people in position, and that God had placed them in position. So, anyways, I do what I do because I care about the children, and I realize that to do things like everybody else, to go the route that everybody else goes, to just be normal, which, by the way, normal is, not only is it boring, but it's ridiculous. I mean, to just, I don't know, man. How do you live your life? Just doing what everybody else does, doing as they do. Sounds pretty boring to me. I'm so glad that I am the way that I am. Not saying that I'm better than anybody. All I'm saying is that I figured it out, that I don't have to do things the way everybody else does, and the way that everybody, just because the majority of people are doing it a certain way, living life a certain way, that doesn't make it right. With all the chaos going on lately, there are times in our life, and there are times in our journey where we see something, we witness something that just touches, hits you right here. And, I'm not coming to you with a bunch of statistics today, or I'm not coming at you with articles and, stories that are being projected in the news or anything. I'm just coming to you and just speaking to you from the heart, because I saw something on my Facebook, and it was a relative of mine. Anyway, it had to do with a child, and the children are precious. Children are precious in the sight of the Lord. God, I forgot where it is, where it says it, but God has a special place for children. He wants us to be childlike at times, We're supposed to grow up, of course, and leave our childish ways, but just the innocence of children, man, just seeing them just be who they are, man, free of stress and free of troubles. It's a beautiful thing. And to see grown people in their stupidity and ignorance defile children and hurt them, and I'm not even talking sexually. That's a whole nother thing. But to destroy children by implanting in them this stupid reasoning that we have, especially these past couple of years. I pulled my children out of school and decided to homeschool because I knew that the majority of the teaching staff was going to be sheeple and dumbed down human beings, and they're going to try to relay that sort of thought processing to my children, and I have 4 children, and I got to my younger ones in time, because it doesn't matter what it says in their textbooks today. Dad knows better. You know what I'm saying? And my children understand that. It doesn't matter what the teacher says, because in homeschooling, well, the programs that we have, there's an actual teacher online, but then there's also me. I am the learning coach, and I work with the child through class, and sitting there with the teacher in the class, online, obviously. But I have to sit there with them in class and sit there and do their homework when class is done. And the rest of the day, I'm the teacher. Say I'm the learning coach. But my children have the understanding that it doesn't matter what the books say. It doesn't matter what their videos say, because best believe they did try to implement the, what do you call it, the syllabus, that comes down from the state. And so they already tried to implant the solar system and this heliocentric model system and dinosaurs, you know what I'm saying, and all this other stupid science garbage. They've already tried. They're gonna come after your children at a very young age. Before they get a chance to think for themselves, they're already under attack of, the oppressing thoughts of their what do you call that? Their standards, their scientific standards, which is all bullshit. And I'm glad I got to my children in time, because my children understand. It doesn't matter what the teacher says. It doesn't matter what. By the way, my teachers are great. All except for one. I like all of them except for one. I think she's a, bit of a dumbass, for lack of a better word. But other than that, my children's teachers are awesome. Especially one of them. She's just great. Say so. My children have the understanding. It doesn't matter what the books say or the teacher or the principals say. Actually, my kids, my children, they call me principal, principal dad, and my children have this understanding that it doesn't matter what they say; it matters what dad says. They learned the sun, the moon, the earth, and all that the schools teach, but my son, he's like asking me every day, Dad, are you going to teach me today? Are you going to teach me today? What is this earth that we're on? What is it? He's so interested, and he's going to third grade, and I'm like, son, I'm gonna tell you, just let's learn what the teachers say, and once you understand that, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And then he's like all bright-eyed and excited, man. He's fired up. He's like, Dad, I want to know what this is. Is the earth flat? What is this? It's kind of cool, man. It's very cool. So yeah, I took my children out of school because I understood that they were going to be teaching them bullshit, especially with the whole muzzling and distancing and barriers in between desks and stuff like that. But the way that they teach how to handle disease or dis-ease, those of us who know that it's stupid, we understand fully what this is. This psyop, this indoctrination. I saw something that really upset me the other day. A young girl who has cancer and had to go into the hospital and stay there and get treated. And, I don't believe in hospitals and all this shit. And I'm trying to get off of medication because I have a lot of I meant to say medical. I have a lot of medical conditions, and some of it requires certain medication to keep my levels right. And so I do understand that there's sometimes a need for medicine, although we've been poisoned and now we're given more poison to remedy the initial poison. So that's how that works. And so I really believe that there's something about being here in the United States that's affecting most people's health. It's not just the food that we eat and the lifestyle that we live, it's also in the air. And so I believe that there's a lot of things going on when it comes to the sprinkling of the skies. And so I think that has a lot to do with my condition. But when it comes to the hospitals in general, there's an oath that is taken, and supposedly it's for the well-being of the patients. But if you understand the origin of these oaths and where it came from, the origins are of Greek nature, and they didn't pray to God, and they didn't just make a solemn oath to help any patient in need. No, they called upon magical powers and these false gods like Apollo and things like that. So that's where that oath came from. So that shows a lot about the higher ups of the hospitals and how the hospitals work. And I'm not saying that everybody that works there is evil. I'm pretty sure there's some good people. I've dated people that worked in hospitals, and I have friends who have their wives that work in hospitals. And so I'm not going to say that every single one of them are evil, but there are a handful. There are a handful that, well, they don't belong around children. They don't belong among us at all, because the methods that they have and the things that they are teaching death. They are teaching oppression. They're teaching fear. I saw a young girl who has cancer and had to stay in the hospital for however long she had to. It wasn't a short time, though, because you can see on this particular video that she was celebrating her going home. She had to cut all her hair off, get all the treatments, be on watch of the hospital's staff until, this cancer was done away with, and not until they found success would she be able to go home. And so in this particular video, she got to put on a dress and a crown, and her mom and dad were there to record her little parade, as she exited the hospital. And so she got to dress up, and I guess they all have a tradition when the child is ready to go home. They turn down to this hallway, and in this hallway are all these nurses and stuff. And I know we talk a lot about the stupid nurses that are in there dancing, making TikTok videos when supposedly there's bodies on top of bodies in there, which was all bullshit. And there were all these nurses and doctors and specialists that deal with children and cancer, and they were all there to cheer for her and say their farewells and wish her on her merry way. And I was generally happy for her. I never met her because I burned some bridges with my business, because I was after people, trying to help them with their financial services and trying to help them with their life insurances, to make sure that they're not getting ripped off. And because of my passion in the business and my tonality, I guess they weren't appreciating me, coming after them to try to help them get into the right life insurance. So I burned some bridges with friends because I was trying to help them protect their family, but that's not what they did. They didn't want me calling on them for that kind of stuff. They wanted me to call them when I want to come over and hang out with them, and meet their children. So anyway, this little girl, I never met her, but her parents or her dad is a dear friend of mine since my childhood. And so, it hit home for me. Anyways, I I saw her go down to this hall and do the little parade, and they had balloons for her and pom poms and a big sign that says "Congratulations, you're going home." And just the joy of this girl, just seeing her jump up and down as she completed her parade to go home. It was something else to see the joy of the child, to see the happiness. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful, and I was just so happy for her. It was a friend of mine and that's her daughter. That's his daughter. Uh, Get a little emotional here. Get really emotional here. Time has passed since the whole stupidity season that we've been through these past couple of years, and all the craziness that we've seen here, especially here in California, where I'm looking around like, why is everybody putting on these muzzles? And, my wife freaking out and asking, what do we do if they come after us? And, because we don't want to put on the mask. And I told her, don't worry, we're fine. God's got us. And, they got to go through me. They need us. They want us doing something that we don't have to do. They're going to deal with me. Before my lawyers, they're going to deal with me. And in this moment, I saw this child. I keep getting in and out of the story, but in this moment, I got to see this child just so happy to go home. Super excited to go home, and she's hugging this staff because she's known them for these, I don't know, months that she's been in there. These staff are all she's known just for this time that she had to stay there at the hospital and get this treatment. So she was just ecstatic. Like you wouldn't believe. I mean, like a child on Christmas morning. She was so happy. And I guess one of these staff members was her main doctor. Whoever the hell she was. She was something different, sort of the boss out of all of them. And she comes over and here's this child hugging everybody, jumping all over the place and excited to go home. Biggest smile in the world. Biggest smile I ever seen. And in the middle of the whole celebration, or towards the end of the celebration, here comes the main doctor. You could tell everybody respected this person, and she was the only one with the white coat on. Comes over and she goes, I'm gonna miss you, and then gives her, a big hug. And then she whispers in her ear. She whispers into the little girl's ear, and the little girl, her smile just faded. It was gone. The smile, the look on her face, it's like if you give a child what they've been asking and longing for the longest, and you see the joy on their face, and then in the middle of the celebration, you take it away from them. If you can imagine the upset, if you can imagine the disappointment in her face. This doctor or whatever she was came and whispered into her ears and said, hey, put on your mask. And so the girl just, she came in and whispered into her ear, put on your mask, and then looked back like this and smiled and, held the back of her head and smiled at her. She knew she was on camera. And the girl, her smile just melted away, and she reached into the breast pocket of her. It was like a denim sort of thing. It looked like an overall, you know what I'm saying? But it was a dress. She pulls out of that breast pocket a mask, and she, slips it on, looking up and kind of giving a fake smile to the doctor. And here I am watching at home, just furious, absolutely furious, because you could let this child celebrate going home after beating cancer. You couldn't let her just enjoy the moment that she's on her way to be with her siblings and on her way to be home with her parents. You had to come over and remind her to put on her fucking masks because you're fucking face Nazis. That's what you are. Any of you that work in the medical department and push this shit, you are a lowlife. You are a lowlife. I don't know what else to call you. You are just lower than dirt, lower than scum. And I know I have friends who have wives that have worked there, and I'm pretty sure your wife is not a part of this. I'm pretty sure you who have family and loved ones, mothers and sisters, brothers, cousins, family in the medical industry that do not push for the face muzzling. I'm pretty sure you guys have family there, and I'm sure they're great people. But if anybody that works in that industry is a part of this lie, if anybody in this medical industry that contributes to the lie, you are as bad as those who wrote those lies, as he that wrote that lie. And I got no respect for you. And even my one of my best friends for the past 9 years, my business coach, he wants to push us to get inoculated with some bullshit, and uses his sister who's a nurse, and he kept peddling fear to our office, saying my sister's a nurse, she works in the ER, she says there's bodies piled upon bodies. And I'm like, all you motherfuckers, you guys must be fucking part of the boys club, if you know what I mean. And you lost my respect. Anybody who contributes to this lie, anyone who continues to peddle fear to our children, anyone who continues to put grown people into fear by teaching them this bullshit lie about all these fake theories and stuff like that, don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you slipping. Okay? I'll punch your teeth out the back of your neck. I'm serious. I am so fucking pissed when it comes to this indoctrination of our children and peddling this fear. The next person, and I know it's coming again. I know we kind of, they eased off right here in California, in the rest of the United States. We're not worrying about the whole muzzle stuff. But then, we're already out of the woods as far as, going into a store and having people tell us to put that stuff on. But I know it's coming again. I know it's coming again. And when it comes back, I'm going to be on top of this stuff. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on my children. I suggest you all do the same. I'm not playing when it comes to the well-being of our children. That really upset me to see that doctor stop a little girl in the middle of her celebration of going home to tell her to put on a mask. It's already fucking it's 2022 now. All right, it's 2022 now. This stuff has died off, and you want to go and still peddle that fear? There's a special place for you guys, man. For you who continue to talk about this fear, to teach this fear, there's a special place for you. There's a special place for you. I feel bad for people like that. Anyways, I was just so upset that I couldn't just keep going another day without talking about it. As you see, I'm not in my regular setup here. I was about to help in bed and just decided, you know what, let me take advantage of the quietness of this evening, of this night. It's 4:38. And I'm gonna try to get some rest right now. We got church in a few hours, but for those of you who continue to talk and speak truth, yeah, right on, man, right on. Keep doing it. Keep doing it because our children are dependent on us. There's no voice of reason in the school system. There's no voice of reason in the hospitals. There's no voice of reason in the majority of, not the majority of, but in the big bulk of the society today. It's up to us to continue to point out the bullshit and question things. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I know it's not the best looking video. You gotta look at me over here in all my sexiness. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, kiss and hug your wives. Kiss and hug your children. Tell them the truth. Teach them the truth. And if they're in school, especially if they are in school, because you don't have the other option, do your best to teach them the truth, man. Your voice matters. It matters that you say something. It matters that you involve yourself with them. It matters that you give a shit. You know what I mean? To give it a shot. So forgive my poor language today. And lack of enthusiasm. I was just a little bit upset with the video I talked about. And let's continue to fight for truth. Continue to seek it because people are depending on us. Little people are depending on us. So stay blessed and stay vigilant. Question everything. God bless. Love you. Bye.